Can make it small.
Okay.
You have to little bit drag your, those you have to drag it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we are like,
All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening to everyone. You're joining the call. Yet another week of DCL Prime Time. I have Viju with me. Satish Daba should be joining us soon. But we have quite a few games this week that we would like to cover. And then we're also going to touch upon the game of the week, as well as highlight our game changer of the week, as we always do. So let's start off with our first game of the week. The first game of the week we're going to start from is the FCC Dynamites game. I know this was a game where the analysts were split. I think we had a 3-2 with Dynamites. So this was one of the games where the analysts must have scored or edged past the others. This game, I think I'll start off, and Viju, I'll love to hear from you. But I think this was a Morgan Vishwanathan show. Great batting from him. What looked like could be a total, which could be a little. I would say I don't think it challenged. I wouldn't say it's challenging, but it's always precarious when you have 77, 80, in that range. It's not a low score. It isn't a very high score as well. But you need to get your batting to see past this score. But in this case, I think it was, as I mentioned, Morgan Vishwanathan. He basically batted, the bulk of the innings, scored bulk of the runs, and in quick. Rapid rate, 38 of 28 with 4 fours and 1 6 at a strike rate of 135.71. But going back to FCC, I think they failed to kind of capitalize on the start they had. I think they had a pretty decent start, and then along with Vinay, I think Vinay and Nishant added runs. But if you look at after that, I think the lower order failed miserably. I think they lost wickets in heat. After 6 for 69, they ended up folding for 77 only. So the lower order couldn't add much to the score, and I think Dynamites would be pretty happy with their bowling efforts as well. Everyone pretty much contributed, bowled a pretty tight line, as well as got the wickets. Again, if you look at the bowling card also, Morgan Vishwanathan, 2 wickets. So he contributed with the ball and the bat. So a great win for Dynamites. I think they are definitely looking like a team that is going to be challenging for the top spot in their group. If not the topmost spot, but at least the top 3 spots. I feel like Dynamites are a team that people in group A should be reckoning with. So, Vinju, over to you. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I mean, isn't Dynamites in Group C?
yes.
Oh, I might have misspoke. Yes, Group C.
Okay, because I felt that Group C is of the easiest of the 3 groups. So, having said that, I think this was a clinical win for Dynamites, right? I mean, in the sense that I think, again, as you rightly said, it was the Morgan Vishwanathan's show. I mean, when you score 38 runs in 28 balls, and you have 4 fours and 1 6, and you have a 135.71 strike rate, you're clicking and you're doing great. I mean, but this is not the first time he has done that. He has done this quite a few times. Last year, 2 years, he's been one of the bright spots in Dynamites. Dynamites didn't make the playoffs last year, but it's not because Morgan Vishwanathan didn't show up. Morgan Vishwanathan showed up, and he played as well as he can play, and he's been carrying the team several times. I don't know, Parthiv, if you've heard of the 2 monks story. Ever heard of it?
No.
Yeah, I mean, basically you have these 2 monks, you see, and these 2 monks, they have this celibacy clause in the monks wherein, they have agreed not to touch a woman, and they come to a river, and it's a fast flowing river. And it's the 2 monks one is an older monk, and the second person is a younger monk. And they come to the river, and while they were going to cross the river, a young woman, a beautiful woman, comes to the river, and she says, "Oh, the river is too fast. Can you help me across the river?" Well, the two monks look at each other, and they have this clause that they wouldn't touch a woman. You see, and so they keep looking at each other, and finally, the older man just walks across, picks her up, and carries her across the river and sets her up on the other side. And then they start walking. And as they're starting walking, the younger man, wants to ask him some questions. How in the world did you touch this woman? And so he keeps quiet, and 30 minutes passes, 1 hour passes, 2 hours pass, and it's eating him inside. How in the world could this man have done this? And then after about 4 hours, he couldn't contain it, and then finally he said, "You know what? Yeah, I have to ask you this question. How in the world could you have carried that woman across the river? I mean, why, the clause, and how could you do that?" And so the old man said, "Well, I left her at the other bank a long time ago. It looks like you are still carrying her even now in your heart." You got the point?
Yeah.
My point here is Morgan Vishwanathan is carrying Dynamites. All right. If you look at this, it was Morgan Vishwanathan show, as you rightly adjudge. It was the Morgan Vishwanathan show. Sure, I believe their Kushar had 3 wickets and he had a very good spell. But scoring 38 runs in 28 balls, I mean, that is phenomenally and freakingly good. This is not, I'm not taking anything away from any of the other Dynamites. I mean, sure, all of them pitched in. But this one, all the credit for carrying that team should go to Murugan Vishwanathan and nobody else. I mean, it was a fantastic show by him, and we'll tip our cap to him. And I guess with that, we'll move on to the next game.
Yeah, I think just want to add, the FCC team definitely lacks some of the batting depth. I think I don't see their Amit Gowda, who was their kind of the pillar last year. He's missing in this game, so wonder where he is. Or definitely they looked quite a bit weak in this going into this game with the lineup I see here.
Well, the biggest loss is our good friend KK. So he was there and he could come in somewhere around where Ashwant Vijay Mohan batted or Sri Harsha bats, and he can give you that Murugan Vishwanathan kind of score. 38 runs in 28 balls. That's what is one key thing which is missing. And then, of course, Amit Gowda and the other Gowda, Shashank Gowda, also left to Stars. And you saw Shashank Gowda come and hurt you, Parthiv, and we'll cover that when we come to your game. I mean, in the sense that it's the same Shashank Gowda who hit the boundary, who was playing for FCC last year. So Nishant, I don't know, he couldn't keep his players. That is, I think that's the biggest knock against Nishant, not his captaincy. I mean, he's leading well, but the problem is if you can't keep your players, therein lies a huge problem. If Stars and many other star-studded teams take away some of your star players, then you have a real problem. It doesn't matter even if you're MS Dhoni, I think you still have a problem.
Couple of observations. Sorry, I joined late. I wanted to cover this game, but couple of observations about the FCC. They are very much rely on the Teju Kumar for their middle order. If he is not, their batting will not be able to sustain. Even if you see in this game, if he would have scored, he would have better run on the board. But when Teju Kumar failed again, I think it back-to-back duck for him, I believe, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
But if lower middle order, I do not see anybody performing at all. This is the third game continuously. Lower middle order did not support at all. That is where they are lacking. In the to win this game, somebody from the lower middle order also has to start scoring and try to get in the last 4-5 overs. That is their feeling. And I think Viju rightly Morgan, even though whether Dynamite losing or winning, if you Morgan, he is performing here and there, right? Bowling department, batting department, and carrying the team on his shoulder. And this particular game, he makes sure that he finished out of 40-run partnership between Murugan and Kushan, close to 28 runs scored by. That shows how good he was performing in that particular game. So that was my quick I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, by the way, Parthiv, is it me or is our friend Gaba breaking up?
It is, yes. Satish, you are breaking up.
Oh, my bad.
So, So you might want to adjust the connectivity, but you are breaking up in between.
All right. Yeah, interesting observations. As I said, yeah, FCC is definitely lacking in batting depth here. But let's move on to the next game. It was a pretty one-sided game, so we'll quickly kind of run over this one. Glad's Motor City, as we had called it, it's 5-0 Glad's. And I think with the toss, Glad's elected to bat, made sure that they got quite a few runs. 138 is always going to be a very tough order against Gladiators. And I think everybody in the top order, as you can see here, chipped in. Nobody got a really big score, but those 20s and 10s and 12s and all add up. And especially when you have a team that is generous on the extras as well, you end up 138. So a pretty hefty score. Good to see some of the batting come through for Glads. I think this was a game that they wanted to get something of a batting practice. They haven't been able to get win the toss and elect to bat first. So this was a good one to get some batting practice for the team. For the Motor City, nothing really to write about. I think they conceded a lot of extras, as you can see here. Everybody contributing to the wides in the no ball column. Even though Hari and Arvind kind of contributed with the 3 wickets, they were pretty expensive as well. On the bowling side, I think single-digit scores all throughout. I'm sure Satya will be very happy with the extras column being only 9. Even though it was only 59 that they scored, but overall I think it was a clinical performance. Everybody he tried, everybody got wickets, so it was kind of a practice game, which I think I'm glad that Glads were able to bring in the team and as well as get enough bowling and batting practice to everyone who was playing on that day.
Parthiv, I watched this game completely, as I generally do. I think, again, as you rightly summed, the Glads had too much firepower, even though we didn't have the best team out there, I mean, in the sense that, many of our other players who can really put in some numbers did not show up for this game. But nevertheless, Taif and Satya gave a great start, and from there, we never looked back. As you rightly said, then there was Hardeep who came in, and he was looking like the Hardeep of old. He hit a couple of lusty blows, clean shots, which left the bat and went out of the park, kind of a thing. And then again, Suyog did his job. And then again, on the bowling front, I think Satya was our best bowler, and Jawad did some outstanding bowling with regards to thinking how to think a batsman out. I mean, there was 1 wicket which he got, the second wicket which fell for Motor City. It was a case where the bowler out-thought the batsman. And but again, I think I wanted to switch clearly on Motor City. For them, their top 3 batsmen, 1, 2, 3, that's where their real, if you can get past that, then you're sitting in the driver's seat. But Parthiv, let me tell you, this is probably one of the most well-behaved teams. Let me tell you, I had no joy in beating them. If I could not take the 5 points from them, I would gladly not take it, in the sense that they, believe it or not, Kashyap, the bails fell off. The batsman is apologizing for the bails falling off. I'm saying they are that good. Kashyap apologized for the bails falling off. And I'm like, Kashyap, stop apologizing. It's not your fault that the bails fell off. The wind blew and the bails fell off. But Bhargav Srinivasan does a fantastic job leading them. They're very well-disciplined, very well-mannered team. In fact, if you had to give a fair play award, I would give them, at least of the opposition that I have seen so far, in the sense that, not even one little bit of, any kind of jaunting or any kind of talking back and forth or anything like that. It's a very clean game. Yeah, again, I think it's on the batting front that they have a problem. I think for them, I was very impressed with the bowling of Arvind. I think, and you can see his figures also back him up: 5 overs, 18 runs, 3 wickets. And then Hari Shankar also bowled very well. In fact, Hari Shankar, if I'm not mistaken, took the first 3 wickets, and those were 3 key wickets which he took. And so both those guys bowled well. I think it is the others who leaked the runs, but those 2 guys certainly they present a good option with the ball. But it's, I think, on the batting front that they genuinely have a problem, because once Bhargav Srinivasan gets out, there is not really that much in terms of talent which can hurt you. So if you are playing Motor City, then your key is to get those first three people out. But all three of them are pretty good batsmen. So if you can get them out, I think then you're in the driver's seat. But yeah, Karthik is a fantastic bat. The way you see him bat, you can see that the guy has talent. And Kashyap is a fantastic bat too. And Bhargav, we already know that he has been doing pretty good all across. It's just that he doesn't have enough people to back him up. But hopefully they can figure something out in the coming years.
Yep. Yeah, and they've been around quite a few seasons now. I think this is their fourth or fifth season. They've been through they were known as the Mil Pasange, if I'm not mistaken, when they first entered Detroit Cricket League, DCL. But now with Motor City, they have a new branding. But yes, I would love to see them. I played them as well. I firmly second the your view. They are very, very well behaved and very uncomfortably well behaved. So,
yeah.
So
it's
difficult.
It's difficult to beat a team where when they are so nice, you really feel bad that you're beating them up, kind of a thing. The other thing is, even though they were Tamil Pasange, Robert Frost wrote that poem that the choices we make have lasting consequences, where basically the poem itself is the road less traveled. And the summary which you take away is that the choices you make have lasting consequences. And I think the Tamil Pasange all split up and went into different directions. So many of them made choices. So yes, I'm not sure if Motor City is the direct descendant of it. Yeah, sure. But you'll see many of these players are in many different teams. Like Srinivas Elumalai went to a different team. You have Bhargav in this team, and then a few others in other teams. Am I right, Satya, or am I wrong?
Yeah, next week we are seeing local boys.
Yeah, so so really it's that the choices they make have lasting consequences. Unfortunately, the original team, when you had all these people, they were pretty good. But then when you split and go in 3 or 4 different directions, eventually the sum of all the parts is not equal to the whole, is what we find out.
Yep, I agree. I think that's the challenge for the lower ranked teams or the teams that are new, is to how do you hold on to your players, because there is a temptation to go to other teams, bigger names and more successful teams. So that's going to be the challenge for Bhargav going forward as well. All right, let's go to the next game. But one thing I wanted to highlight, Glads have been playing with 10 players. Arjun has been kind of hop skipping between DCL and F40 games. How is that strategy working out? Is that going to be the strategy with, I'm sure, with the lower ranked teams?
No, see, I think if Arjun had to stay, he would have stayed. So Arjun's first priority was DCL. But the thing was, once we put 138 on the board, we could let him go and field with 10 players. We only had 11 players, Parthiv. All these games, we rarely have 12 players, and we had only 10 players. With great difficulty, we got 11 players. And, could we have even fielded 12 players? Yes, but we would have still had to field with 10 because 2 of them would have gone, kind of a thing. So, yeah, I mean, but let me ask you, I think on the show, Hardeep had a question for the Primetime gang, but I don't think it is a question for the Primetime gang. It's more a question, I think, for DCL committee or for the decision makers. His question was about time wasting. You get my point? And a lot of time was being wasted. And the question, his point was, hey, Primetime gang, can you bring this up wherein people are wasting time? Can we just move on with the game? And there should be some kind of a penalty for wasting time. And I thought I'll bring that up and see what you guys had to say about it. Individual opinions, of course, not a committee opinion, but individual.
Yeah, I think individually, I feel like the umpires, like the opposition captains, should be talking to the umpires, and the umpires should be aware that if there's deliberate time wasting done for whatever reason, the umpires should be making the players, get into the game quickly. I don't think there is any role of the committee, because we are remote. We don't know what's happening on the field. It's always the umpires. They are in charge. They should be made aware of this, and they should be handling this situation. But I've also seen, even in international games, there's always some sort of gamesmanship which is going on. You want deliberately either to break the momentum of the game, or in this case, if there's a player who is going to go, there's always going to be that gamesmanship. So I don't think that's avoidable, but I guess there's
So,
only
but I have another thing, right? Every team has been allotted a certain time to bowl. If at all they are able to complete their over quota with the limited number of time that has been allotted, there shouldn't be an issue, right?
yeah, but I think
If they are taking in between the over break, they are taking time to make a strategy within. I don't think it should be an objection, and umpire should make a note of it about the end time. If at all they think that it is going beyond, and creek clubs is the right place. It gives you like when you started bowling, when you actually end the bowling, right? It gives you a lot of information in terms of the timing as well. So
yep,
if at all everything is under the limit, I don't think any team should have objection, because if you go, there will be a lot of subjective things, right? People think genuinely they try to make a strategy. Somebody is going here and there, getting close. They make a strategy, and I think we should allow that time frame for all the teams. If at all they are going beyond the time limit, umpire should take the call. Committee cannot take it. Umpire is the committee on the ground, and they should take it.
And but Parthav, let me stay right up front. I'm not sure if the time wasted here was a deliberate time waste. Rather than more like which happened with the circumstances of the game. Because I don't think even they knew that Arjun would be going. Forget them knowing it. We did not know Arjun would go. I mean, in the sense that if we hadn't scored 138, Arjun was not going. I mean, if we had scored, let's say, only 70 runs, I can guarantee you Arjun would have stayed there for the entire game. But the moment we scored 138, it gave us the luxury to say, you know what, carry on, go and play the other game too. We can manage with 10 players. But what I'm saying is that was there a deliberate time waste? I'm not so sure about that. At least I didn't see it. But then again, remember, I'm sitting 10,000 miles away. So, but this was a question which I think it was a generic question which Hardeep was throwing out to the primetime committee. But having said that, Gaba, you're still breaking up. At least for me, I can't hear you clearly. I hear bits and pieces of sentences from you. So I don't think it is a bad connection. I think it is something.
Let me retry again.
It is your equipment.
Let me restart it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next game. We have quite a few games to cover, so we keep moving along. The next game we have is Local Boys versus Cover Drive Cricket Club. Again, I think Local Boys, after I've played with them, so I know they have a fairly good side, fairly good batting unit with Srinivas Alumni and Naren. I think both of those guys have been performing well. They've been amongst the runs, and in this case, they got a chance to kind of bully Cover Drive Cricket Club, which is a fairly new team. They have fairly new players, not there yet with the DCL standard, so they're still like learning the ropes. But Local Boys, I think they stamped the authority on this game very early on with the start which Srinivas provided. Another blistering start. You see 34 of 21 balls, 161 strike rate. With that kind of a start, I can just imagine how the pressure must already be on Cover Drive, and then on top of that, you have Naren coming in and then also kind of playing a knock 85% strike rate. So they were motoring along and helped by the extras as well, 16 extras. Cover Drive, I would say, the only silver lining in this game was, Ravichandran, who got those 4 wickets. He bowled a pretty good spell. Apart from him, there wasn't much support on the bowling unit from Cover Drive. And then once you had that runs on the board, obviously there was pressure, but there wasn't much of a fight given by Cover Drive. As you can see here, there were quite a few omelets being made that day with so many of the ducks coming across from Cover Drive. And I think Local Boys just wrapped up. I mean, they would be disappointed giving so many extras. But overall, I think this is a clinical finish by the Local Boys team. So definitely another team. I think Hitmen and Local Boys are the two teams to watch out for in Group B. I mean, they might cause an upset or two. Already, Local Boys have a win with Strikers, so I wouldn't consider them. After playing them, I would consider them very. I would be very very watchful, and I would advise that to every other captain. They can take the game away if Srinivas and Narayan kind of strike and have a field day.
Well, guess what, Parthav? If I'm not mistaken, Local Boys plays Glads and Satya will have his hands full. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he got plenty of advice as to that he can expect a real fight on the card. So if I am Satya Valiyutham, I'm going to make sure that I bring pretty close to an A team, not some C team, not where, okay, we'll manage. And I don't think anybody should be leaving the game early because you can probably afford that against some of the lower ranked teams. But I think Local Boys is much better than what we have given them credit for, at least in terms of reputation. But I don't think the Strikers outcome was a fluke by any chance, at least as far as I was concerned. I was not at all surprised that they won that game. Again, I think how Srinivas goes probably drives a lot of how Local Boys perform. But in this game, they had the, Narayan, right? He also performed outstanding. 46 in 54 balls is a pretty good game. But I think their litmus test is going to come this week. When they run into Glads, now we are going to see, are you going to be able to put in the same kind of the performance? Because now the bowling is going to be much better. The fielding is going to be much better. The opposition can bat. And there will be also strategies to get your people out. So now it becomes, we're going to see where they stand this week. I think that's a good this thing. But let's give them credit. I think Pool B is a real dog fight. I mean, every week is, you maybe have 2 or 3 weeks where you can take off, but Pool B is tough, man. It's a pool of death.
Absolutely, and the results that have come across so far have made it even more harder, with teams losing games which they should have won. So it's making it even more and more interesting. But to the point, I think Local Boys do rely a lot on Srinivas alumni, the start he gives. So that's where the secret sauce is. If you can get him, chances are that you have a pretty good handle on the game. Your probability of winning definitely would increase if you get him out cheaply.
Yeah, also, Parthav, let's be fair. Whoever misses out from Pool B, it's their bad luck that they ended up in Pool B, because many of these teams, probably if you were in Pool C, the Local Boys, I can see them very easily making the playoffs, Hitmen making the playoffs. But now you have Hitmen, Strikers, Local Boys, many of these teams who are not resting easy, including Glads. I mean, we lost the first game, but after that, we have been, our antenna has been up saying that, and I think this week with Gujarat Lions losing, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every team in Pool B has lost at least one game.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
I think, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely getting closer, and even the type of games. We'll come to the Gujarat Lions game, but yes, definitely, I think there's a lot of scope of upset still down the road. All right, let me go on to the next game, the Detroit Bulls versus Spartans. All right, I will go to Satish, you to analyze this game for us.
Yeah. So, am I audible? Is better now, Vijay bhai?
Much better, yes.
Okay. So this particular game, I think I expected to be a one-sided, and it turned out to be one-sided. Detroit Bulls are actually the team that has surprised me from the Pool C. After the fallout of few important players from the Detroit Bulls, I did not expect them to perform this good. And at this point, I think they have been unbeaten from their side. Going back to this particular game, Spartans won the toss, and surprisingly, even with the good weather and good outfield out there, they decided to bowl first, and they have given a chance to Detroit Bulls to start the inning. And if you see Gaurav this is the second game he's playing, and both game he performed really good. The first game also he scored about close to 20 runs, and this particular game also 46 runs. It was unfortunate that he could not finish his 50 and got run out. Otherwise, it was a very good inning, about close to 90 strike rate, and it has been very well supported by Gino with 11 run and the Rohit Khare 23 run. Gaurav and Rohit almost had 50-run partnership, and that get them into 100 plus score 107, which was, I think, based on the bowling that they are doing, Red White Bull might be very comfortable going out and defending that 108 run. I mean, when we talk about the Spartans bowling, Hiren Patel was bowling good from the previous game, but I think this particular game he was very economy was little high. 5 is little high for particularly if I see, and I do not see any other bowler who impressed much. Abhishek economy was better 2.8, but other than that, I think all were like quite high on economy side. This particular game, at least Spartan has used this six bowler, which is actually a good sign, and they were managed to have just 12 extras. So again, that is something that we should highlight on the Spartan side. When Spartan started chasing 108, again, other than Akhil and their captain Ishwar, nobody was able to put up a double-digit total. And after that Ishwar wicket, their complete middle order and lower middle order collapsed in no time, and they just got all out in just 63 runs, lost about close to 40-50 runs here. Again, Vatsal, their captain, he picked up the 2 wickets, impressive bowling with 1.8 economy, and very well supported by Gino. Gino is performing again with the bat and ball and becoming the backbone. I think he was there from the long, and I think he's making sure his team is moving forward on the right path. And I think Gino is my peak of the player, and Gaurav was the man of the match, obviously, because of what it is. But Gino is performing almost all the games. He's performing with the bat, ball, and he's very quick fielders too. So I think very well going for the Detroit Bulls, and I'm looking forward to my game with them too. What do you think?
I'm going to tell you, Gino James is the real package. All right. I mean, he's like the LeBron James, who does everything well in the sense LeBron might be not the greatest scorer of all times. All right. But what Gino does is he does with the bat, he does with the ball, he can great fielding. He's a very loyal guy. He plays, he's played for them for ages. I mean, I have absolute admiration for the way Gino James conducts himself. And I think Vatsal, who's the skipper this year, well, one thing, when you get Gino James in your team, you're getting the complete package in your team. But Gaurav has been a fantastic batsman for a long, long time, not just in Mishka, but even in DCL. This is one guy who has been able to make that adjustment between Mishka and DCL and perform very well. These guys can, what's their record? 4-0, 5-0? I'm not sure what their record is, but if somebody could tell me what their record is, it's either 4-0. 4-0. And if you told me that it will be 4-0 after losing MBB, I would have said, not a chance. I'm sure it cannot be 4-0.
Only Bulls and Red Devils are without any loss there.
Okay, so the only 2 teams to remain undefeated are
Red Devils also undefeated. We are also undefeated.
Sorry.
In that pool. I'm saying in that pool.
In that pool. Okay, Satya corrected it. But is there any other team which is undefeated other than these 3 teams? Hopefully not. We need to make sure everybody loses at least 1 game. Otherwise, I cannot rest. Otherwise, I cannot rest easy. But nevertheless, hey, 4-0, they can turn around and say MBB. Who is MBB? I don't care about MBB. I mean, we are doing great. MBB can go, but we have a 4-0 record. And but I think Vatsal has led well, and but I think the rest of the gang has showed up and given enough support. But a lot of admiration for that team.
Yeah, on the other hand, I think Spartans have lost 2 key players. Obviously, Chanakya Lokam, and then one of the other, I forget his name, the captain.
Chanakya Lokam was the captain.
Yeah.
No, the one before that. I forget his name.
Nadeem Khan. They lost Nadeem Khan. He was
Nadeem Khan.
Yeah, he was an exceptional player too. So they lost some key pieces. But if you ask me, of all the teams which lost, Chanakya Lokam was the key loss, because, sure, we lost Ronak U. Patel, but I think Chanakya Lokam for Spartans was greater than what Ronak Q Patel was for Glads, in the sense that even if Ronak Q Patel failed, we had other pieces who can cover up for him. But for Spartans, they depended a lot on Chanakya Lokam. So losing Chanakya Lokam essentially was like a deal breaker. I mean, it is more than losing that one player. It is a phenomenal player that you lost. And when you come to the Red Devil game, I'm going to talk about the Chanakya Lokam innings, because you need to go and see that innings. I guess we'll get to it when we get there. So I don't want to waste my time on this.
It's the next game, yes. So
all right. Now, congrats to Detroit Bulls and hard luck Spartans. I mean, Spartans lost a lot of things. But you know what? Spartans are outperforming for the talent which they have. So give credit to their current skipper, Kalyan. He's done a fantastic job. Or Ishwar Toleti, he's done a fantastic job with the pieces that he has. I mean, you can only play with the hand you are dealt with. So congrats to Bulls. They're bullying everybody, whoever they're coming across.
Yes, and I think we checked the statistics. I think these are the three teams that are undefeated: Detroit Bulls, Detroit Titans, and Red Devils. So they are still undefeated across the different pools. All right, next game is the one which I think you were referring to, the Hawks versus Red Devils. This was another game. I think we had quite a few opinions amongst the analysts and even our showcase game of the week guests between Hawks and Red Devils. Hawks are no means a walkover team. They have been in the pre-quarterfinals in that first year last year, so there were high expectations coming into this year. But on the other hand, I think Red Devils have gone a notch up. With the additions of Chanakya Lokam, obviously they have their Swarna Raul Mithini. Those guys have been performing day in and day out for the team. So chasing a total of 105 is not easy, and to do it with so much ease, with almost 6 overs to spare, that definitely should be having the alarm bells starting to ring in that group, as well as across the board. I think Red Devils is definitely going to be, whoever faces them in the playoffs, is going to be having a real tough time. So I'll go to Satish, you, for the analysis of this game. I know you might have a few things to talk about Red Devils.
I think we lost him.
We lost him.
He's back. All right. Before he covers, I'll just throw the color on it. I'll just say that Chanakya Lokam, I saw that innings towards the end. Parthiv, you've got to see this. This is a clinic. I mean, talk about patience. I mean, he was patient, but anything which was the wrong ball went for 2 runs. And that's, if you ask me, the safest shot to hit in DCL is the 2 runs on the offside for the right-hander. I mean, it's such a risk-free shot. You just scoop it over this thing and you get 2 runs. But not everybody can play that shot. And give credit to Chanakya Lokam. He has the ability to play that shot. I mean, I agree that Gagan Singh is a fantastic ad, and Golden Boy is Golden Boy. But I think the real addition, if you ask me, if I could take one of them, I would take that Chanakya Lokam guy, because he is a very patient T-ball cricketer. And he knows how to stay at the wicket, and he knows how to accelerate if the need arises. You get my point? But T-ball cricket is not all about hitting 6s and 4s. You need to be able to stay at the wicket, and you need to be able to put enough runs on the board, and then the pitch will do the trick for you. But yes, Gagan might be taking the initial credit for their outstanding record. But I don't think that this was this thing. I don't think any of us disagreed. All 5 of us picked Red Devils to win. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe it was one of the showcase guests who had picked Hawks. But I remember somebody had picked Hawks.
Okay, well, it's not one of that primetime analysts. All 5 of us picked Red Devils to win, and there is a good reason for that.
The Red Devils, Parthiv.
Yeah, I remember very clearly last week that all of us were clearly on the Red Devils bandwagon. We were ready to party with the Devils. So this week we are partying with the Devils, saying that the Devils did their job. So Hawks is a good team, and to beat them this convincingly, I think, as you rightly said, very, very serious alarm bells for anybody playing the Red Devils.
Exactly.
So over to you, Gabaji.
Yeah, I think we talked about a lot, but one I will try to quickly cover this. If you see, right, when Hawks won the toss and elected to bat first, I think when they put down 105 total, I think they will be very happy about it because uh, uh, the way Red Devils was playing and the kind of decent bowling that they have, and Hawks was not that impressive with the bat as well because on the last few games. They actually did for me they did really fantastic when they put 105 total. I said the game is on for this particular game. uh, on the peak of the batsmen, Sachin has 26 run, and then Arun came on the lower middle order and scored those 26 runs that helped them, to get those 105 runs. From the bowling aspect on the Red Devils, if you see, I think everybody was decent, close to the economy of four. Sai Gautam came 7 or 8 change, and then he got 3 wickets in 4 overs, 18 run. I think that was something that they did not, Hawk might not have expected it. When the Red Devil started, I was like, oh, when Gagan was playing, but from the other end, wicket was keep on falling. But when Gagan and Chanakya started playing, I think immediately Gagan got out. And later on, Somit and Satish also got out. When I was following this, I said the game is on because Chanakya also did not get settled there. And then Uday was just skipping. They were already 6 down at that time and they still needed around 40 plus runs there. So that time game was on, but the way the Chanakya, as you may rightly mention, Vijay, the way Chanakya has played, and I've seen him playing that way. This is the guy who can, stay and can hit also. He is very powerful hitter. At the same time, he can rotate and middle the ball really well. The same inning he has played, he was waiting, playing for single and doubles, and then just building his inning along with the Uday. I would give similar credit to Uday as well because at that particular point, Chanakya wanted somebody to stay with him so that they can close the game. And Uday has provided that support. 16 runs, 22 balls with 1-6. I would give equal credit to the Uday for his that brilliant inning. And they both make sure that they close the inning much before, like winning 6 overs before chasing 107 was phenomenal. When they were 68 for 6 and getting 107 runs in the 19 over, the remaining 40 runs that they scored in the 7 overs, about close to 6 runs per over, is phenomenal. I would.
Yeah.
We talked about this couple of times. I think I think we talked about MCC Miles. They have very good batting. Because I was not following a lot of people. I know even though Swarna is not clicking. Okay, from last 1 or 2 games, I see he's not been performing. Still, Red Devils batting looked extremely strong. I did not see Uday before. I have not seen him batting before. Last time this particular game I was watching, and I really enjoyed his batting too. That guy is coming way down the order. So at this point, Red Devil is also one of my best batting unit. I would say I would rate them, one of the best batting unit at this point.
Listen to what you're saying, Gabaji. Let me assure you one thing. 4 years back or 5 years back, correct me if I'm wrong, Parthiv, this is the same Safaris team which couldn't win one single game in an entire season. And I remember somewhere around that time wondering, hey, what Safaris doing? The same thing what we talk about Dark Horses or Marvels or Cover Drive Cricket Club. We say that, what, you guys need to figure out something. You can't be losing every single game because that defeats the purpose. I know KK says that the Golden Boy deserves the credit for bringing these other people in. But I'll tell you one thing. For me, the buck stops with the skipper. It is the skipper. Now, whoever it is, the skipper, he gets all the blame. So, you know what? Whenever something goes wrong, people have a tendency to put the skipper under the bus. How about giving that skipper some credit when things are going right?
Absolutely.
And if Safaris have turned from where Safaris used to be, where they had 0 wins and all losses, and every team was like, man, we want to play Safaris so that we can set a DCL record, to where we are right now, give Venkat Kiran Kolla all the credit in the world. I mean, it doesn't matter who got somebody to come and play for him. He's the leader, right? And if he's the leader, well, he should get the credit, because if something had gone wrong, we would have been throwing Venkat Kiran Kolla under the bus. But if he's doing a fantastic job, let's give him the credit, because there is no way this team would have been that good if he is also not doing his job. So I do agree with Gabaji. This is one of the better teams in DCL, and they are really going to give KRCC all the trouble that KRCC can think of, because if I'm not mistaken, KRCC plays them this week, and we're gonna there is a reason why that is going to be the showcase game of the week. But I'm looking forward to watching that game at least.
Yep. And you rightly said, I think Venkat Kola definitely needs to be recognized. I think he's worked tirelessly in the last four years at least to bring Safaris to where they are. And I think the secret is, and I was talking to him maybe last year sometime, and I was telling him about how great Safaris have been ascending in the right manner. And he talked about, they've been playing a lot of tournaments together. And I think that's what has made the team come through, as well as attract a lot of these players like Chanakya and Gagan Singh and all those guys have come through the ranks because they've been playing with these guys in several tournaments throughout the year. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Safaris or Red Devils or whatever their team name is, pretty much the score team plays every T-ball tournament there is, like FCC Cup, Winter, Spring Cup. They pretty much play everything. So that helps also to attract players as well as keep the team together.
But you know what, Parthav, I mean, if you ask me, Raptors also play many of the tournaments together. I mean, it's the same core unit which is playing in many of the places, whether it is indoor or whether...
But if you see, Raptors has the same kind of thing. They add a lot of players in bulk. If you see, they probably have the maximum number of rotations in terms of players in and out because of the fact that they play players. But we can talk about Raptors long, but what lacks is that leadership. I think that's what Venkat Kola makes a difference between Safaris and Raptors.
There you go. So now you have hit the real point, which is why I was bringing up Venkat Kiran's name. Even though KK gave the credit to Golden Boy, I honestly feel, Golden Boy might have brought one player or two players, but the real leadership skill is at Venkat Kiran Kola, and let us give him credit, because when things were going wrong, we were crucifying Venkat Kiran Kola and saying that, what is the skipper doing? You get my point? Or maybe we did not do it publicly, but privately we have, every Tom, Dick and Harry was saying that. And if they are not, if they say, I didn't say that, they are lying to the face. You get my point? So I'll give him credit for that. And I think that if you assign a man a blame, have the courage to give that man credit too when his team is doing well. He is the leader on that team, and give him the credit for that. So fantastic job by Red Devils.
Yep. Absolutely. Yes, we'll definitely be looking forward to hearing from them as our showcase game of the week with KRCC. But let's move on to KRCC now. KRCC have been kind of working through the ranks. They've been getting the wins, but it hasn't been like the all-out show which we all expect from the champions. They haven't been kind of putting up the big scores, even though they have been playing. Tamim and Ali Abbas and Jasneet and Raza Ali have been playing pretty much every game that I've seen. But they haven't been able to notch up like a really dominating performance. Even though the margin of victory is 44 runs, so it's quite a substantial one. But starting the innings, batting first, I would have expected with a team like MI Rangers that they would have scored at least the 120, 130 runs with the batting lineup they have. But nevertheless, it was a comfortable victory, so no taking out from that. But MI Rangers, I think that's another team that has lost quite a few players, and these new players are coming into the ranks. They bowled well to restrict KRCC to 91, but then with the firepower that KRCC has, with Zuban and Tamim and Mufassir, it was going to be a very, very, very difficult task. And the spell from Mufassir, as you can see, that 5 overs, 5 runs, 4 wickets, and Tamim 5 overs, 4 runs, 3 wickets. I mean, you basically, they gave nothing away. 0.8 economy and 1.8 1 economy. and then backed up by Jasneet and Raza Ali. I mean, it's hard to play KRCC because there isn't any weakling in their bowling. It's hard because every bowler is like almost seasoned and they give nothing away. So it's hard. It's going to be hard to score against KRCC. But if you put up the runs, I think that's where the weakling might be. If they are made to chase a tall total, that's where we see whether Tamim and some of those guys can come through. All right. I'll move to Satish or Viju if you guys want to add color to this.
It was a one-sided game, Parthiv, so I really have nothing much to say on this one.
I think Parthiv, you rightly pointed out. KRCC, something that need to worry about. They need to worry about their batting. Specifically from their key player. Last year, if I see, Prashant was performing well in the middle order. Jasneet was performing in the middle order. But if you see Jasneet in the last 3 games, right? I was just checking his stats. He scored just 15-17 runs, I believe, in the last 3 games. He played 83 to 85 balls with 20 strike rate. He's taking a lot of time, but still he is not able to score. Wherever, even though whenever he's batting, he had the platform where Tamim Muni and Jiban has already scored, quick runs. There somebody, it's not just Jasneet's responsibility though, but whoever is coming on after that, they should accelerate the inning, right? As MI Ranger was, as you rightly pointed, against MI Ranger, they should have better score, the kind of firepower they have. But at this point, I think KRCC should worry about their batting if they are looking for a longer run.
Yeah, with Jasneet, I've always seen, he basically gets through the league phase, but when it comes to playoffs, that's where the guy really steps up. So, I wouldn't be worried about Jasneet. I think, I would be worried about the top order. The ranks of Ali Abbas and Tamim in the top order, they should be scoring much heavily there.
Tamim only did his job, right? I think whatever the game he's playing, he's quick scorer.
Yeah, but he's doing the quick fire 20s and 30s. But I think, last year he had quite a few big scores. So that hasn't come yet. But yeah, still we have the second half of the season yet to go. So I'm expecting, we will see some big scores from him.
If you see, he's just waiting for strikers, Parthiv.
And also I believe the way they are using Raja is scoring runs, right? I'm not sure what is the strategy to pushing him way to lower in the order. Maybe they are trying to give chances to other batsmen. But otherwise, if you see Raja, I think all the last 3-4 games I've seen Raja scoring left and right for them.
Right.
But he was actually continuously being pushed to the down order. But maybe there is strategy to give chances to, because Onkar was batting little down the order. Earlier game they wanted to promote him, and likewise I believe. But that's okay.
We have a lot of games to cover, guys. So I think we'll have to
let's move forward.
Yeah, so the FCC Agni versus Pokies game. This was a game, I think, it looked pretty one-sided. But at the halfway stage, I would say, Pokies would have their heart in the mouth, because 95 is never a comfortable score to chase. So it was always going to be an ask for Pokies to really step up. And they did. I think Pokies we've always talked about them. They do have a long batting order. They bat very deep. And in this case, Prasanna, made sure that 48 runs is definitely going to be our strong game changer of the week, contender for the game changer of the week. The 48 runs of 3 4s and 1 6 dominated the innings, especially when you consider that they were chasing. Ramesh would have felt good after the first innings, but then they met Prasanna and he just took the game away. So I would love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Did you guys feel Pokies Agni had a chance?
Yeah, I thought it was closer than what it should have been. I think Pokies bowling gave away too many runs is what I felt. But having said that, I think it was a clinical win for Pokies. So Prasanna Manikvel, I think, really took the game away. But other than that, in the interest of time, I'm not going to say much more on this game. This was a game. This was a game which we all had 5-0 Pokies, right? Or even 7-0 Pokies.
Yeah, I don't think anybody gave FCC a chance. But good to see some of the tall performances. Pokies dominated this week's batsmen top batting and bowling talent. Vignesh with 5 wickets. Good to see him amongst the wickets. And then Prasanna with 48. So they were definitely amongst the toppers.
Is Vignesh leading the league in wickets taken? I mean, is there a way to quickly this thing? I haven't.
Parag Tarwade is leading the wicket taking.
Yeah, we can definitely check
Okay.
quickly.
All right. Because
Parag is leading on the MVP as well.
Oh, it's our. Oh, this is a different league. Sorry. Default.
Oh, I was wondering how in the world is Satya Wale?
Yeah, I was surprised as well. But yeah, Parag is leading. No surprises there. He's been notching up 3s and 4s almost every game. If you see here, in 4 games, he's got 2-4.
Didn't Vignesh take a 5-wicket hauls one of these other games that we covered? I thought a couple of weeks ago he had taken out.
I think, he did. So if you see here, he has 2 5-wicket hauls.
Okay, so that means in the other 2 games, he didn't pick up any wickets then.
He either didn't pick up any wickets or probably didn't get a chance to bowl.
I think he did not bowl. I think overall, in the 4 games, he bowled 12 overs only, right?
Very, very
looks like he did not bowl.
Check. But yes, you are right. He has 2 5-wicket hauls, but our leader is Parag. He's got 1 5-wicket haul and 2 4-wicket hauls. So, so 13, 14, 13. So pretty close. Manoj Singh, Ashok Reddy. So still a long way to go. But yeah, those are our top leaders right now.
Okay, good.
All right. Let's go to the next game. It is Phantoms versus Indus Thunders. I think the lesser being said about this game, the better. It was a hopelessly one-sided game. It was played right next to our game, and I was basically surprised. By the time we started our second inning, I think it was over. Thunders, basically just finished the proceedings within under 4 or on 5 overs. And really nothing to write about, nothing to even talk about in this game. I mean, it was so one-sided. And Indus Thunders, I think the one thing that they took out of this game was they were able to qualify a lot of, like they got Dinesh and Manoj. For a game of this quality, I don't think they were required, but I guess they wanted to make sure. I know the availability is a concern as we go deep into this season. So it was good to see them, and they did what they normally do. They just cleaned up everyone and made a really quick afternoon, a really quick morning, I would say. It wasn't even afternoon by the time they finished the game.
Part of the question of qualification for Manoj doesn't even arise because Manoj is the skipper. He's the skipper.
He's the skipper.
If he's the skipper, you know that he's going to be playing pretty much every game. You get my point? Unless he's sacrificing his position for somebody else to get them qualified. But I think with them winning the F40 championship last year and this year, that team kind of disintegrating because many of them have different priorities. Like Arjun has T-ball as a priority, and I think Manoj has T-ball as a priority, and Dinesh probably is going to be playing more T-ball games than F40 games because it's not the same unit out there. You get my point? Mm-hmm. So I think the lesser we speak about this because they were clearly not on the same planet. I mean, Phantoms were the Phantom. What else can I say? I mean, they disappeared.
Absolutely.
They wanted to fight on this game.
They forget this game in a hurry as well.
Am I audible?
All right. The next game was an awesome game to be playing. I can go the whole hour talking about this game.
Gaba, you are audible to me. I don't know why Parthiv doesn't hear.
That's okay.
I can't hear him.
Really? You are speaking.
No, he's audible, but for some reason there is a significant lag.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was going on the Star Strikers game. This game was so awesome. It turned out to be a match of 2 halves. I mean, not 2 halves. I think 4 halves, I would say. Strikers won the toss. We elected to bat. We wanted to put up a good score so that we could put pressure on Stars. And we were going really on, nowhere. I mean, we were 38 for 8. I remember when and we were hoping that somehow we get to 50 or 60 to at least get a sneak chance where we can bowl something. And then came Kapil and Ritain, and they had different ideas. I mean, the last wicket put on a humongous, 60-odd runs. to get us to a total of 84. And the way the momentum carried along into the last wicket, into our bowling, that gave us belief that, if we can put up a score like this, and 84 is always going to be a challenging score. And we had the bowling attack to challenge Stars. But again, the first half of the Strikers batting belonged to Stars. Second half belonged to us. Stars started, as they always do, with really going after us. And we always come across Ravi Teja, and somehow he's always been kind of a thorn in our flesh. He's always performed against us. He's always got big scores, and this time too, he was playing out of this world. I mean, I've seen a lot of the batsmen. He comes probably very close to being my top favorite batsman. He has a knack of converting even the good, decent balls and whacking them over six over the field. So his innings there. But fielding there, I knew that if we get him, we can pull the match. But it was very late till Ravi Teja really got he got frustrated. And he gave us a chance. But even at that stage, I think we were I think he got out at 73 or something. So it was a game that was in Stars' lap all around. And then from there, we basically just came back. Sujay, outstanding bowling. You should watch his bowling. He's almost a replica of Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja from our Indian team, with the line in length and the action he has. He's very, very difficult customer to deal with. And he, along with Swapnil and Shreyas, bowled really tight, got us a lot of wickets. And I felt like Stars were in a hurry. For some reason, everyone came in and wanted to kind of finish the game off, and somehow either missed the ball, skied it, and we gave a chance. And the penultimate ball, not the penultimate ball, but the last ball, which basically we needed one run. In came Shashank Gowda. He skied it, easy sitter towards the long on boundary, and our fielder drops it. It pops over and goes to the boundary. And the fact that it went to the boundary meant that their net run rate also notched up. So we were when it became 21.3. I think, at least in my mind, I was sure that we've secured the bonus point at least. But that boundary not only just got them a win, but also got them the bonus point. So it was a horrible situation to be in after the game, trying to figure out how in the world that has happened, because everybody was going back and forth on, okay, it goes by the bonus sheet. I know there was calculation done by the algorithm which is used on cricket clubs. So we were going back and forth, and finally, we were able to kind of bring some sanity to what really happened. But as I said, again, in this innings as well, first half belonged to Stars, second half belonged to Strikers. But somehow Strikers were able to pull this through. And this is the second game the Strikers have let go. And normally in those side finishes, we are on the winner side. But this year, maybe it's not the case. We are being on the other side of some of the side games. So all in all, great game. I congratulate Hari and the team. And again, Ravi Teja for the great innings he played. But I wish that last ball would have been caught, and we could have had a different story to tell on the show.
Yeah, Parthiv, when I saw 21.4, I was very sure that you got the bonus. But the moment that ball went to the boundary, I remember texting in our primetime group that Strikers lost the bonus. Right then and there, I knew Strikers lost the bonus the moment that boundary went. I don't need to look at any score sheet, because the formula is very clear on that one. And the bonus sheet is just for a guidance, but at the end of the day, that 4 changes the NRR significantly. It just decimal points, and you lose the decimal points. You will remember, I think GLCC, they scored a bonus by making the other team
bowl wide.
Make a bowler wide or whatever it is. It was this season. This season, they had their opposition bowler wide or something and got the bonus. So I honestly, by the way, why did Ritin Munshi, if he can bat that well, why is he coming that low down?
Well, this was the first time that we actually discovered
Okay.
what Ritin Munshi can do. So
Okay.
yes, you won't see him the last batsman from now on at least. But
Okay.
it was a phenomenal innings. I mean, he just basically, and I think he just counter-attacked and it just worked wonders.
The other question is where was our Kishore fielding?
Kishore was not in this game. He's
Okay.
Offside. So yes, we definitely missed him.
Okay.
But he would have been typically keeping. I do not keep nowadays. He's been keeping, so he would have been keeper either way. But I mean, no. I mean, I can't blame the fielder. It was a pressure catch, but it was a straightforward one. So he didn't have to move. It was right under his throat, on his throat. So, but happens, stuff happens.
Yeah, I know, but obviously, if he has dropped this one catch, it's time to move him out of that position and put him into a different position, because you're going to have history repeat itself. That is why we always. That's why we always, when Ronak Q Patel was there, we had Ronak Q Patel at that spot. Because I know
the problem we have quite a few aging players, so not a lot of players can move fast. So that's why we have the boundary covered by young players who may not be good catchers, but at least they can run. So we are facing that kind of a situation right now.
No, that's why I asked where was Kishore, because Kishore is an exceptional fielder.
Oh yes, he is an exceptional fielder, but he is keeping nowadays. So we would have had him. We wouldn't have had him either way.
Parthiv, if Mahendra Singh Dhoni can keep, I think you can keep too.
I wish I could say this to my teammates. They have lost faith in me after the disaster which was there in Dynamites game last year. I was horrible in that game. So after that, I've basically raised my hand that I'm no longer swift and flexible anymore.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I have a question for you both, and if Satya wants to also patch in. If you're batting on that position, 9 down or so, or in general also strategy, where you require 1 or 2 runs and you have 4 overs remaining, what would be your strategy? You want to go hit in the boundary, or you just want to wait for those singles or a wide because there are 4 overs to go? What would you like your batsman to do, or you would personally do at that point?
If I was the batsman, I would take the one single just to make sure that the game is tied and we're not losing the game. I wouldn't have gone for that sky hit. I was surprised by the sky hit, and it actually was great because they didn't have to worry about the overs. They had plenty of overs.
Yeah, 4 overs, right?
So,
if somebody will wait, you might get a wide also, right? 4 overs.
And I don't think the bonus point was in his mind or in Hari's mind or anything that they had to score a boundary to get the bonus point. So it was a sort of a relief or something which he basically had just blind faith and he just went for it. So, it was a gutsy call, and if it came out, otherwise he would have been foolish. I mean, we would have been talking about it the reverse way.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, Gabaji. I would go for the single rather than going for the skyhook and get out. I mean, I think that's the higher percentage play. Yeah, in this case, I agree with Parthiv. Right? There is no way any of these guys are thinking bonus at that point of time. It's first get the win. It's bonuses. If it happens, it happens. But it's not the ultimate criteria. If you can get that 4 points, that's exactly what you want to get.
Mm-hmm. I think we can move on.
All right. The next game is the Gujarat Lions SLCC Legends game. I know this was our showcase game of the week. We talked quite a bit to both the captains. We expected this game to be a big one, but I don't think it lived up to our expectations. So, I would like the analysts to take this over so that, you guys talk about this game. What do you guys think? Where did Gujarat Lions fail?
I can start, and then you can put some color into it. So,
yeah.
If you see, right, this particular game, Gujarat Lions won the toss and they elected to bat first. And I think the way they started, Dhoni got out on Doug, but Ishan and Maulik, they figured it out, and they, even after losing Ronak cheaply again 3, I think Ronak did not perform any good inning at this point, I believe, in the last 3-4 games, if I'm not wrong. And the KUR also was the one that was actually giving some stability in the top order to Gujarat Lions, failed in this particular game. But once Maulik get into the ground and Ishan, they both both put up a good partnership where they were 60 plus runs in the three wickets down in the 12 overs. So they were looking phenomenal, and they were looking towards 120, 110 runs score to start with. But once the Molly got out, nobody in the lower middle order, nobody at all supported. And then Ishan got run out. Who was playing really good, got run out, and Molly got out. After that, everybody failed. I think this is the same thing, Molly. When I specifically asked Molly, what do you think about the Gujarat Titan? Where do you have more concern? He highlighted that he has little bit concern over the batting, and he was right. He knew his team that he may have to work on the batting side, and the same whatever the concern that Molly was carrying, it proven here that their lower middle order completely got collapsed in no time. Where they were 60 for 3, they were down for 80 all out. Like last 7 wickets got out in 20 runs when they played another 8 overs. They could not even finish their 25 overs of quota. So that is the biggest concern that the Gujarat land where they were looking for 110, 120 score and they got all out in 80. If you see from the bowling side, Narne picked up the 3 wicket, Guru picked up the 3 wickets, and Praveen picked up the 2 wickets, and all 3 were phenomenal to completely make sure that the lower middle order is completely not even standing. In the Srikanth, Narne, and Guru was phenomenal, getting those lower middle order. I have seen them, finishing those kind of batsmen easily. When Legend started batting, I think they had a very strong start. Legend was actually struggling in the previous games where they were not getting a good start from the batting side. But this particular game, everybody, including all those 5 batsmen who has banned and bat, everybody has given whatever the captain might have asked. Okay, stay, score runs on your wheel because 80 runs is not enough. It's not that much where you need to hurry and try to score. Ravi and Ravi Teja Pujari, all 3 were scoring in the double digit, and Ravi Teja was not out with 29 runs. I met him post the game as well. We were playing on a different game, and he was saying that he had a complete different mindset for this particular game, and he wanted to spend more and more time on the ground. So a phenomenal inning from the Ravi Teja, and then after that Mahindra and Sai Pratap, they came and like 7 wickets victory. It was one side. I would say it was a one-sided, but the way Gujarat Lions started, I think they failed on their batting side. And Gujarat Lion bowling also, I do not see, even though I do not see anybody, who was able to get something out of it. Ronnie Patel was a little expensive on the 5.5 economy with the 4 over spell, and then same goes with everyone. So nothing much to talk about Lance bowling in this particular game. Over to you, Vijay.
You were saying about Ravitej, which Ravitej are you talking about? There is Ravitej Pujari, and then there is Raviteja. So who are you talking about, Gabaji?
Ravitej Pujari.
Okay, Ravitej Pujari. I think Ravitej Pujari, I have seen him indoor, and I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I told him that he's a phenomenal player because I saw him indoor what he did to the Glats bowling. And agreed, indoor and outdoor is 2 different games, and the ball comes on differently. But still, anybody who can battle that, I have a high respect for. You go and look at this game, you'll find he did exactly what Maulik Patel does to other people. He did to Maulik Patel. 2 every shot on the offside. And again, as I told you, the safest shot in DCL is that 2-run marker on the offside. And anybody who can play that shot, you have a significant advantage. And I don't know, out of 29 runs, probably about 20 runs came in that 2 runs for Ravitej Pujari. Yes, he stamped his class on this game, made sure that it is one-sided, because this game, even though it was the showcase game of the week, it was the Lions were completely outclassed. There was no other way to put it other than Legends completely dominated this game. I think, again, as you said, I think the Lions batting leaves much to be desired, because if Maulik is failing, and then there is a problem there. Obviously, Ronak Patel will have to raise the level of his game. But at this point, Maulik was doing well, and then so also Ishan was doing very well. But then Ishan got run out, and then there started the problem. But I think you identified the Lions batting as the problem. For me, the Lions bowling is the real problem. I really don't see it.
I did not. I did not, Vijay. When Malik came on the show, I asked this question
Okay.
where he wants his team to improve more, and he mentioned that he thinks that his batting is a little bit concerned. I did not mention. I'm just putting
Okay.
Malik did it.
Okay, Maulik, this thing. Well, if I'm Maulik, I'm going to say that my bowling is the real problem because there is really nobody there who can really is a match-winning bowler who can take over and dominate a bowling and get the opposition out. Because if you really look through that bowling figures, you'll find that you know what? Yeah, I mean they can at best contain an opposition, but not necessarily something which can demolish an opposition.
I think they were
Whereas
missing one of their regular bowlers. Shivam wasn't playing. I'm not sure how much difference he could have made, but I think he would have played as a left arm bowler. I think you know, right? He played the Glads as well. So
yeah. I mean, he's a good bowler. It depends upon which day. On his day, when he's on song, he's a fantastic bowler. But there are many days where he's not on song. Then in that case, then it becomes a problem, you see.
okay.
But the key is to be on song. But I'm assuming that this was a Sunday game. That's probably why he was not available. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, being the showcase game of the week, you had to go with your best 11. So anyway, hard luck for Lions, but great win for Legends.
Okay.
Yep. And just like last time I had asked, I see Satish bowling regularly. So, you know.
Well, you know what? You jinxed him. You jinxed him, Parthiv, because he was sending you videos about how he is bowling, and I don't know. Maybe you send that video to Maulik because all I know is it is 1 over 10 runs.
Well, whatever I said, it made him feel like he can regularly bowl. And now, you see, he gave 10 runs on the first over.
If he's going to give 10 runs in every over, every opposition team is going to be saying, I want Satish Belamakunda to be bowling. All right?
So, yeah, let's see if that trend continues. If he gives himself a role.
I don't know. He's not going to send you any more videos because you're probably sending these videos to the opposition skipper.
All right. Next game, another one-sided one. I would say Detroit Titans versus SLCC Guardians. Satish Gabaji, walk us through this game.
Yeah, I will try to make it quick this game. So this is the first game where again we lost the toss and opponent decided to bat first in this particular game. Otherwise, everybody was giving us the opportunity to bat from the last two games.
Oh, wow.
In this particular game, we wanted to bat, but Guardian did not allow us because Woodhaven was a good batting pitch, and we wanted to explore more on the batting side. But when we started, I think it was clearly when I was also analyzing the Guardian, we knew that their batting is weak, and actually it was proven that I think SLCC Guardian, if they have to work on their batting. They have decent bowling side. When I played, I found that the couple of bowlers are really good. I think always SLCC has, I think, that liberty where they are getting good bowlers but not getting the good batsmen. I don't know, but if you see, right, nobody actually who were able to manage even in the top order. Everybody was. We did not had a lot of difficulties to get anybody out. If you go, Love picked 2 wickets. I picked 2 wickets, and Parag was phenomenal again. He picked up the 4 wickets, and there were a couple of run-outs too. They were in the running between the wickets for also. I see, because a lot of new faces and new people, I believe. So I think the main concern with the SLCC Guardian is the batting at this point, and they put up some 40 odd runs total. Which we were very comfortable to chase on, and we went out, and I all the players we just mentioned that enjoy your day, and Amrit and Prajwal started good, and then we promoted Anil, and it was like very easy chase for us, very comfortable win. Pick of the bowler, as I mentioned, right, I think Ujjwal was the new addition to the SLCC family, and he was really good. He was bowling really good. And along with the Khalil, Khalil also impressed me. I think these two bowlers were really good, but overall it was very easy game for us. and we also finished in by 11 only. We had another game at 4, and we wanted this game to be quick, and it was a good game for us. 4 win.
All I know
Yep.
is Parag Karwade is having a phenomenal season. Other than that, what more can I say about this game? I mean, I think Guardians have been a major disappointment so far this season. There's no other way to put it. They have really underperformed. I think with that kind of talent which they have, I would have expected a slightly better performance. But the lesser we speak about it, the better off we are. Let's put it this way, Parthiv. Guardians' biggest claim to fame this year is Jagan Konda. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yes, that has given them some sort of a publicity. Otherwise, yeah, the performance is not anywhere close to mentioning anything about them. Yeah, we'll talk in one of the segments. We will definitely touch upon as we come closer to the end of the season, we'll talk about the disappointments and the teams that have really outshone. So, SLCC Guardians would definitely come, at least right now, come in that category of disappointments. Another disappointing team, which I would say at least from my side, is the Thunderbolts. I think we expected them to at least, give a fight to Troy Hawks. And if I'm not mistaken, there was at least one from our analyst.
I picked up.
Our great Gabaji picked up Thunderbolt, saying that he was going to get an upset win there.
Yes, I
He
do
said,
remember there was someone.
yeah, Gabaji was, running Thunderbolts, and he was bolting after the Thunderbolts.
Then they dropped thunder on my head itself.
Yes. No, they also they short circuited you with some real bolts of electricity.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I don't know how many players they were playing, but they had 11 wickets. So whatever they did,
I think what I think while closing, they did not close the game properly, and they added the batsman, and they made sure the last batsman got out. If you see right on the Thunderbolt side, last batsman did not do anything and got out.
Oh, okay.
So I think if you see right, so
Yeah,
that is where they just closed the inning. I think end game. That was.
Anyways, yeah. So that was just a joke. I know. I'm pretty sure they had not had 11 wickets. But coming back to the game, I mean, Troy Hawks. They haven't been the Troy Hawks of the past few years. Troy Hawks was really coming to par, and then suddenly they lost a few players to Raptors. But they have been decent. I would say that they are strong, but I don't think they are definitely a team that anybody can just take it lightly, or less lightly, even think about easy victory. But Troy Hawks, the fact that one of our analysts actually went against them, that proves that Troy Hawks are not as strong as what they were last year with Chapidi and gang in the Connereddy and Chapidi together in the ranks. But in this game, I think they got a pretty decent total. A few double-digit contributions along the way from Rushendra and Natraj, and down the order from Rohit Pawar, got them to that 98. And then Thunderbolts, I know they've been bowling well. Deepak Bhaskar, and we've mentioned him a few times in the past shows. He's been kind of their go-to person on Thunderbolts. He picked up those 4 wickets. He was the only guy, I think, who was able to bring some sort of a order in their bowling order. Most of the other bowlers were either expensive or wicketless, and I was surprised that they didn't give Riaz more than the 2 overs, because he was pretty decent. Only 2.5 runs per over. Probably another over or 2 would have warranted to Riaz. But on the batting side, I think Thunderbolts have been a little disappointing. Just 49 runs, out of which 14 were extras. Apart from Riaz again and Deepak, who I called out, there was no contribution from anyone. There are quite a few ducks, and I'm pretty sure, just like the other team we talked about, they must have taken these eggs and made some scrambled eggs or omelette or something of that sort of. The only thing that Santosh and Troy Hawks would be a little disappointed is the number of wides. Everyone pretty much gave away a couple of wides, and that contributed to the 14. Otherwise, Vinod and team were looking at a really, really low score. Anything you guys want to add? I mean, this is a pretty straightforward game.
No, I just want to give a shout out to Partha. We talked about giving Venkat Kolla all the credit for the Red Devils resurgence. Another guy I'll give credit for is Troy Hawks, their skipper.
Yep.
Remember, they have lost pieces and they are still performing at a very high level. Now, on the other hand, you have teams which have lost some key pieces. They are not performing at that high level. The moment that key piece went away, it's gone. Losing
Right.
Kaushik Chapudi and Pradeep, that's two premium players who probably can walk into almost any DCL team which is out there, all right? On their own merit. They can walk into almost any DCL team out of the 39 teams. Maybe one or two teams you might wonder whether they can walk in, but I feel they can walk in. So to lose those two outrageous talents and still perform like how they've been performing, let's give credit to Santosh, because I think it's his leadership and his ability to attract players and bring in new players and unearth new talents and get the maximum out of it. So congrats to them.
Absolutely, yes. I think we did highlight Santosh, if not Santosh, at least Troy Hawks in our earlier season when they were really putting up a really decent totals and beating some of the bigger teams. They were definitely on the ascending in the last couple of seasons. So they've lost players, but you're right. They are still not the team that is like playing without any key stars. They're still putting up a great fight. Talking about great fights, what about the next game? I think we have, in most games, if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 or 3 seasons, we've given Rising Stars the games that they've been involved, a pass. But this is a game I think we should probably give them their due credit. This was a truly outstanding win for Rising Stars, and they have few and far wins in these last few seasons. So this was a game that I'm pretty sure they would have enjoyed and celebrated, and especially against Canton Hurricanes. Canton Hurricanes is definitely one of the contenders in Pool A to qualify for the playoffs. So this defeat dents their progress, but I still see them going through. But I think what took them took Canton Hurricanes by surprise, is the batting on the Rising Stars. I mean, they started phenomenally. I mean, Gopal Patel, 42, and then equally supported by Sukoon and Bhavin. I mean, they just batted out of their minds to actually take this total of 80, which is not in 86, which is not a small total, and win it with that ease. With just 3 wickets, with 7 overs to spare. Definitely an emphatic win, and something for Javed Bhai and others to ponder. I mean, the fact that he used 7 to 8 bowlers, that does show that they were completely out of clue of how to stop this Gopal Patel brigade. So over to you guys. Add more stuff to this game. Pretty sure Rising Stars are waiting to hear from you guys.
Yeah, Partha, I was the only analyst who picked Rising Stars to win this game, and there is a reason for that. I actually respect the Rising Stars batting. I honestly think that they have a few good batsmen, and they were showing some kind of sprouts of life. There was a little bit of shoots which was coming out. Gopal Patel has been performing. Go and look at his record. Year after year, he has been performing for them. Now, this year, it was slightly under the radar performance, but I thought it was slightly around the corner. And I thought that, if the bowling is not that outstanding, then he can make it. Because Mohammad Ramzi is a fantastic bowler, but then the question then becomes, where are the other bowlers who are going to come and trouble the Rising Stars batting? Because if you look at it, one game, Rising Stars were completely blown away. And sometimes you can take that and say, oh, the Rising Stars are back to the same old tricks of what they have been doing last several years. But then there's another game where they chased down 30, 35 runs in like 3 overs. And, they have been performing, but it's just that it has been under the radar. And this game, this is an emphatic win, because Canton Hurricanes, as you rightly said, were flying sky high, and they were doing very well. But I think another thing which did not help Canton Hurricanes is Adarsh Nair got run out. that was a gift. You get my point? Because he has been playing very key roles in that middle order. The moment that key player is taken out of the equation, now all of a sudden, what might have been 115, 120 runs is not going to be 115, 120. It's more like 86. And you are not even able to bat the 25 overs out, you see. So that made a huge difference, because otherwise Amit Sivarai's 23 in 16 balls would have really carried the day, because if Adarsh could have put in the usual kind of figures. I'm wondering who is the guy who was batting with Adarsh, because normally I would say that, if we have Arjun Ajbani batting on one end, we would prefer that the other batsman sacrifice his wicket if it comes down.
Sure it's Amit. I think it's Amit, because Sadat got out before him, so it has to be Amit.
Okay. Well, it is what it is, but let's hopefully Hurricanes come out of this, because this is a win they needed, because Pool A is again tough, and so this was a win they needed. But I think the number of bowlers used is also dependent upon the fact that nobody was probably having any effect on the Rising Stars batting. As you rightly said, Gopal Patel seemed to be in complete dominating form there. But great win for Rising Stars.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next game. The Stingers United Raptors, another awesome upset, and I'm very happy for Stingers to be winning. Although Raptors is a team that I've played with, but I feel Stingers deserve this. Since a very long time, this team has been there, in and out. Have performed. There have been individual players who have performed, but this win is definitely going to be a huge boost for Stingers. Beating United Raptors, and Raptors were pretty much with everyone they probably needed to have. I mean, they had Kiran, they had Pradeep Kota, they had Chapidi, they had our Bahubali, they had pretty much everyone. So there is no complaint as to why Raptors team was not able to chase this total. I mean, yes, the total was on the higher side, 98, 99 is on the higher side, but we still expect, with the kind of batting lineup that Raptors has, to chase this with whatever difficulty they would be facing. But credit should be given to Monty Patel. I haven't seen him bat, but that 36 and up front, definitely laid that foundation. And then a fewer contributions down the order from Halagu and then Amit. I think that contribution was significant to kind of raise that total from that 70 odd, which would have been a moderate total, to 98, which then becomes a very fighting total. So. But I think on the bowling side, I don't know whether Raptors took it a little easy or whether they wanted to give people a chance. I mean, I haven't seen Pradeep and Vikas bowl in ages, so I'm not sure as to what was the motive behind that. Maybe they thought that the game was definitely under control and they wanted to basically, experiment with it a little bit. But those 3 or 4 overs, those runs, I don't know if that was the way to go, or you would rather want to just finish this off, get the wicket, and keep the score under check. So I was surprised with the kind of bowling Raptors used. On the other hand, I think,
those 3 guys did not concede that many runs.
They didn't, but they didn't pick up. They probably didn't pick up the wicket. I would say, yes, they didn't concede. They probably conceded 12 runs in 3 overs, but they didn't get the wicket. So you basically had the game. They almost played the 25 overs. So I would have basically got in somebody like a Kaushik or somebody to just rather kill the game. I don't know why they wanted to kind of extend the 3 more overs. Why would they not give it to Kaushik, who was their regular bowler? So, I mean, as I said, I don't know what the real reason is, but I haven't seen Pradeep Kota and Vikas bowl in a very long time. So I'm surprised that they were here. Yeah. On the other hand, I think, it's good to see Pradeep back in the batting. He's been kind of on and off quite a bit. But him getting 34 runs, he was the backbone of the bowling unit. But everyone else kind of failed. I mean, the big guns, Armendra, I mean, generally, this is another one which I'm not sure why they changed, or whether this is going to be the route which they're going. Armendra normally opens with Kiran, but now with Kaushik in the mix and Abhilash in the mix, I think they're trying to figure out what's the best spot to have Kaushik and Armendra, whether they want to go all out guns blazing or whether keep someone in the middle. So I think that was something which is reflected on the scorecard. Over to you guys.
Parthiv, let me ask you this question. Has the arrival of Kaushik Chapadi and pushing him into the opening spot killed Amarendra Nuwala's game? Because Amarendra Nuwala, as you said, until last year, opened the batting and, show me where he has failed. Maybe one game or 2 games maximum. And he has been performing lights out. And now you put him down here and he's doing what I might do. You get my point? And that's not speaking much. So, come on, guys. I mean, what's going on?
So let's not put it on the Kaushik, I would say, Viju bhai. Instead of Abhilash, still Amar can open, right?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Both can open.
No, because Kaushik has come, now you feel, all right, understand the logic. Now you feel, we brought in Kaushik and now we have to, make him happy and keep him occupied and things like that. So let's put him and give him this high-profile role and let's take one of our guys and push him lower down. Now, sometimes, you have to wonder whether that is creating more damage than really, because if Kaushik hadn't come over, wouldn't Amar still be opening? I mean, I'm just asking.
Absolutely.
Because last several years, Amar has been opening. What caused Amar to go down? Is it because Kaushik came over and you feel this great urge to keep Kaushik happy? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Kaushik is a great player.
I think the real reason is they were dependent on Amar and Kiran at the top of the order so much that they felt like with Kaushik coming in, they wanted a little more stability in the middle order so Armendra can fill that that role. But I think that's wrong. I mean, if someone is so successful at that position, I wouldn't touch him. That doesn't make sense.
Parthiv, I have the same problem with Pokies. Saranraj was doing so great at the opening spot, and you have now moved him down to the 2 down or 3 down spot. I didn't say anything because this is Ranjit trying to figure things out, and you have to give him. But you know what? We have about 4 or 5 games data to look at, and Saranraj has not been the Saranraj of last year, right? So at some point you have to look at it and say, well, you know what, this is not really working out the way we thought it should work out. And I think it's the same case with Amar, that it has not really worked out, So Kaushik is a great player, but you know what, let's not upset whatever we have going for us, and maybe Kaushik can fill around, and he was brought in to plug certain holes. Let us plug those holes. Even if Kaushik has to open, I don't see why Amar has to leave that opening slot. You see,
that is what I was also mentioning. They can allow Amar and Kaushik both open, right? Because anyway, Abhilash, I think they're trying to fill Abhilash, right? Abhilash, I have not seen him opening in any format, so I'm not sure what is the thought behind pushing Abhilash. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd game where he's opening. Kiran would have been a better choice along with Kaushik if they doesn't want to go with Amar. I'm not sure. Again, this is something we can ask to the captain whenever we meet next time.
Yeah, and I think I was just looking at the scorecard. Yes, Armendra and Kaushik have been opening for most of the games. Kiran, maybe one of the game he came up and opened with Kaushik, but this was the first game where they tried Abhilash as in the open. So maybe this backfired, and hopefully, this is a lesson learned for the captain that, you shouldn't change the winning combination.
And another important thing, Parthiv, which you missed it, while chasing 98 runs, Raptor was 60 runs for 3 wickets in 12 overs.
Yeah.
And there they collapsed, if you see that. Ideally, they shouldn't have lost the game from there, right?
But let's give credit to our game changer of the week.
Amit, definitely. All credit goes to Amit.
Amit Miglani. The name, that's the man who has gone the game changer of the week. Now, granted, somebody else might be your stats king as per DCL, but the way we do game changer of the week is the guy who made your team win, who was the one person who was the real difference maker. And yes, we had Prasanna Manikvel, and then we had in this particular game Gopal, and then this Amit Miglani, and 3 of the votes went to Amit Miglani. The other 2 guys did not vote because when I looked at it, 3 of you guys had already voted and Amit had already got 3 votes. And I said, okay, it's already done, kind of a thing. But Amit Miglani is a great choice to be a game changer of the week, because nobody in their right mind would have picked Stingers to beat Raptors. And if Raptors lost, Amit Miglani had a lot to do with it. Maybe not on the stats sheet. I don't know who gets this thing. I don't know. Maybe Tami Moni or somebody else probably gets the highest points or whatever it is. But the guy who really made his team win is Amit Miglani. So he rightly deserves the game changer of the week. And I do not know if Amit Miglani follows our show, but if there is somebody else on,
I know someone from their team who follows. So Jagan,
okay. Okay, then I know one thing. Jagan is very good at claiming things. All right, he is very fast at claiming things also. So I know he will make sure Amit Miglani contacts Satya before Friday midnight, and make sure that he claims the award. But it's a richly deserved award, and we tip our cap to Amit Miglani.
Yep, absolutely. Sterling performance, Amit. But I also want to credit.
But also, Jagan had a sterling performance too. I mean, he got that last wicket. Okay,
yep,
so let's not forget that.
Yep, he came in at the. I think he was brought in at the last to kind of make sure that at the clinical end, kind of he bowled those crucial overs, 4.4, 12 for 3. I think that is a significant contribution as well. I know he's.
Parthiv, what made this even more incredible is that they lost 2 fantastic bowlers. One was stolen by yours truly, which is the strikers, and then Maulik Patel and company took the other bowler away, right? Tarun from them, right? So they lost 2 key bowlers, and despite this, they go out and beat United Raptors. That is amazing performance. Now my question is Amit Miglani going to be stolen by Detroit Titans?
Well, I was almost going to steal Jagan bag from Stingers, so that didn't happen. But nevertheless, yes, Amit Miglani. I mean, some of these performers, are great ones to look into, especially with so many tournaments going on. They if we can get them highlighted and get them playing more tournaments, I'm pretty sure they would appreciate that. So yes, Alagu is going to have another field day trying to guard some of his big performance, but hopefully, this is not a fluke win for Stingers, and the more wins come along their way, and they are able to kind of keep their players with the team as well.
Parthiv, I'll tell you what Alagu has to do. All right, he has to do what in India, when these MLAs are trying to be coached, they take them to a different state and put them up in a hotel and things like that. Maybe Alagu Paulraj needs to take some of these guys and put them in the basement of somebody's house, and say, that's it, guys. No way you guys are stealing this guy.
That's true.
Anyway, I'm just having fun. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, some of these teams have been reputed to lose players. Like Canton Hurricanes is another one which has lost a lot of players. I mean, they've made a lot of players, but they have lost a lot of players. They haven't been able to capitalize. Same thing with Stingers is happening, the same thing. All right, last game of the week is going to be Marvels versus Dharia. And this was another one, I think. Was it Satya who picked Marvels?
No, yes. I think it was all of us. Is it okay?
Satya picked Marvel and all of us picked Dharia.
Okay. Yeah, I remember he had mentioned like he knows something about Marvels that we didn't know from somewhere. But now, I mean, this game, another one. Right? I mean, another team that is would be thrilled this weekend. So Dharia, Rising Stars, Stingers, all of these teams which have been, at the basement, at the bottom of the tables, and suddenly these wins are a great one to boost their confidence and see more of these players performing. So in this game also, I think getting Marvels out for 76 and then chasing it so easily, definitely I think Dharia would be very, very happy. I mean, Sri Ram Kumar Maddu with that 34 runs along with that partnership with Imran and Raja, I think and then Marvels again, just like some of the teams have been so generous with 18 extras, everyone, contributing to that extras column. So Dharia, very, very happy with the win. I don't know if I have anything else to add to the team because not a lot of known faces on either side, but Marvels have a lot of catching up to do. So do you guys have anything to add here?
Only thing I want to appreciate Dharia's batting in this particular game, because chasing down 70 plus run with just 3 wickets down is something that we should appreciate about.
Absolutely. So with that, I think is there, so just like how you asked, Viju, there were teams which had were undefeated. Is there any team which has still not won? I think Dark Horses might be one. Is there any other team that has not won yet?
Well, the team which we just
Oh,
saw,
Rangers.
Marvels shouldn't have won anything. Royal Unkars shouldn't have won anything.
There are plenty.
Yeah.
Cover drive.
So there are cover drive. I mean, but cover drive, in all fairness, they are in a very tough pool where, man,
Yep.
that's.
MI Ranger did not win anything.
Yeah, I'm surprised MI Rangers haven't got a win yet, but I don't know if they haven't played the Phantoms in the Hunkars yet. So that might be a game they will be definitely looking forward to getting some wins there.
Yeah, but then again, remember, Rangers lost some key players too. So that's another thing which is holding them back, right? But yeah, they have some decent players. So I think it's only a matter of time before they win some games. But they are not going to make the playoffs. At least that's not the way it looks like.
Yep, I can bet. All right. So that's all the games we had this week.
So not bad. For a change, we have done this in a pretty record time for this week.
Oh, yeah. We've got 20 minutes to spare.
Okay.
All right, let's go. We have okay, Satya, you're back. So are you going to share these prediction results so far? Who's catching up and who's lagged behind? I think I'd be still even Stevens. I don't think anybody's going too far ahead. Do you want me to unshare?
Vijubai Rising Star has taken Vijubai in the star.
Yeah, I mean,
but he lost again. There was another.
I think he picked FCC. Vijubai picked FCC. I think he might have lost one.
Yeah.
But again, he compensated on the Legends game where we both picked Lions and everybody else picked the Legends. So all in all, I think we might not have any changes from the last time.
Yeah.
No. I certainly caught up with Vamsi KK. I am very sure of that.
Vamsi KK lost quite a bit edge. All right, let's call out.
Let's look at it. I think Satya might have those points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I want to see how our friend Imtiaz Mohammad Abdul is doing. Because he's the analyst of the year so far. I mean,
he got 59 or 54 points. I think
he's leading, but I didn't put it over here. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, I want to. Are we able to see what his picks are for the coming week and things like that?
I did not.
See, I'm at 65. I'm just 2 behind Parthiv.
Oh, damn. I have to be careful now. 63, 62. Oh, pretty good. It's getting close. Gabaji's caught up as well. He was 5 behind me, so he's 4 now. Satya, I think for.
I'm not last, at least.
Yes. You got up 1 position. All right, but pretty close.
Last button, it's all same.
Yeah.
Generally,
I think this week we picked all same. I believe. I was checking.
Not many tough games, but okay.
Yeah. All right, so we are pretty close, all in the 60s. So
MI Rangers fighters.
I think this week everybody is exactly the same for one game, except for one game.
Yeah, I think one game you picked Dharia. Let's go there.
Yeah, so in other words, I'm the only guy who has faith in Dharia. You guys are fair weather friends. You guys just said good things about Dharia, and then when the time came to pick Dharia, you guys did not pick Dharia. I want the Dharia skipper to go out and prove me right.
Actually, I picked Dharia, but when I see you pick Dharia, I thought this is a chance. Either I will try to get additional point compared to you, but that was my strategy. Otherwise, it was a close game. If you ask me, right, this particular Dharia and Spartan game will be, something that I would be looking forward to, and who is winning and how they are performing.
Yeah, but see, Gabaji, you shouldn't be picking based on what I pick. You get my point?
No, I got that. I had that belief. I was confused. That is the game I failed the last. I failed everything
I
except
think
that
next year,
particular game.
next.
I was
maybe
till
next
the
year we
last
should
minute.
do
I was
this.
just thinking which game. I did analysis for those two teams, and I felt Spartan is still.
Guys,
I went with experience.
For playoffs, I am going to go to Google Forms, so nobody knows who picks what.
Yes, I was just
Yeah,
going to
that's
say
a good one.
next year we should do that. We should do anonymous voting.
And I will pick first. If you want, I can show the timestamp. So
if you see, right, I generally feel generally I see whenever I go there, I see Vijubhai is already failed, and then I started feeling myself. I always see KK feeling the last.
KK
Last
is always the last.
Last minute.
Because KK is a cheat.
Yeah, but I like the Google polls idea.
or we can use the one which we are using right now. I'll just pick your guys out. So.
Yeah, that's true.
You watch it. We might get a reply from KK soon.
I'm sure he's listening somewhere.
Okay.
Vijay, you can pick Rising Stars again.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Viju, come on.
Well, the Thunder's bowling is just too good.
Thunders gets Panditi and everyone in the normal games as well nowadays. All right, this is going to be interesting.
You guys should pick. Somebody should pick local boys. Come on,
this
guys.
is a game. I think this is a game. Spartan versus where we have a mismatch.
Yeah, that's the only game where there is a mismatch. Well, I'm the
What
only
about-
true believer in Spartans.
What about Red Devils and KRCC? Is everybody on KRCC back?
Everybody is on KRCC, but that is another game where I'm not so sure. I mean,
I'm also not very sure.
No, I mean, that was the other game where I thought about going with Red Devils on that one, but then I said, you know what? Well, the champs are the champs, and the other guys are the new kids on the block. So I'm not yet ready to jump ship from KRCC.
Pokies Gujarat Lions is there?
Yeah, and everybody has gone for Pokies. I think one game of Parthav, you want to pick Lions?
No, after last week's defeat. No, I would have picked them if last week they would have won. I would have picked them, but not with the performance which I saw last week. Otherwise, I mean, I'm sure if Gujarat Lions would have won, the Gujarat Lions would have been a game changer.
Talking about close games, this is another game which I expect to be a close game.
Yeah, I think
I do
agree with you.
Because I don't think it's going to be cakewalk city for Gaba and company in that game against Sterling.
I agree with you, Vijubhai. I think this is the game that I was looking forward to, and I think it might be a close game. So we are trying to prepare for the same.
Sterling Strikers is
Thank you
other
for
team
picking
who lost a lot
Titans.
of players, but still they see.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be one-sided, but we'll see.
You think that Titans are going to kill Sterling Strikers?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think it's going to be more one-sided.
No, I think it's going to be a close game.
I think Sterling Strikers don't have. I mean, of the recent, I don't think they have enough firepower.
Okay.
Unless there's someone who I don't know has suddenly steps in.
They have a few good ones, right? Heather Bhatti is still around, and couple of more.
Yeah,
good players.
but he's more bowler than batsman. But I mean, their firepower in terms of batting has been lost. So we'll see. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, where is our guest? Are they in the?
I don't think there's any guess.
There's
no guess today because they are having the other game, right?
E90 because
so,
they are in there.
So while we have this, all of you guys, which day makes sense? Because you're going to have the same problem going forward. If you're still maintaining Wednesday, then remember that we're going to have this problem. And you two guys are playing. I think all three of you are playing.
All three of us.
All four of us playing.
Yeah. So then you're going to have this problem where some Wednesdays you guys are playing. So then how do we go about doing the show? That's a existential question which we have right now facing us.
I think moving it on the Thursday would be preferable.
But our host can't do it. That's the problem.
I mean, push comes to shove, I can do it, but I would prefer Tuesday. But I can do Thursday. I'll manage it somewhere. It's not that I'm going to be engaged somewhere else. It's just that Thursdays are normally very busy for me.
But Tuesday will also have same problem, Parthiv bhai, right? Someday we will have game, someday they will have game. We will never have a full house.
Let's do Thursday. That's fine. I can do it.
Okay. Well, if you can do it, then Thursdays makes more sense. So starting next week, we are going to Thursdays then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. By the way, I'll be off. I'll be off next week, but I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time, is what I guess. But did you guys want to talk about the showcase game of the week? What you're looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll go. The reason why I selected KRCC is absolutely right. I went with the champions reputation, and yes, they haven't fired yet with batting with the tall scores, but it's just a matter of time. But I do feel, I can be convinced if somebody talks to me that I can change my vote to Red Devils, because I feel Red Devils is at the cusp of creating this kind of upset and stamp their authority of being one of the favorites, or at least underdogs to reach quarters or semis or something of that order. I do feel it's going to be a great game. It depends on who wins the toss. If Red Devils bat first, I feel that they have an upper hand. KRCC might be a little tentative in chasing, but if KRCC bat first, then any total they put up with the likes of Mufasir and Tamim, and it's hard to change. So best bet is win the toss and bat first.
So that's a matter of discussion. As we talked about, our Red Devils are a strong batting unit. Suppose they started batting first. What do you think that chances of getting them 100 plus score against the KRCC bowling? Because
I don't think they.
Why I'm asking this question, because I personally think if at all Red Devils start batting and they put down 100 plus score, somehow they have fair chances to win this game.
Absolutely, that's my point as well. Is that if they put the runs on the board, KRCC will have a hard time chasing it. But if KRCC bats first, even if they score 80-90, they can defend it. They have the bowling to defend it.
So I think a lot of responsibility with Gagan is on the form. So Swarna, our golden boy, as you mentioned, I think if he can click, and a lot of other folks, right, that we talked about, Chanakya, if at all they get into closer to 100 or 100 plus, I think they have fair chances.
Right.
What do you feel? My feeling is, Parthiv, I think if there is an upset here, I would not be shocked. In fact, if we had to put percentages, I'm only going to put 51% for KRCC. 49% is for Red Devils. I think it's
so that is close. Not an upset, right? I wouldn't, even though if Red Devils win, I will not call it as an upset, because
I wouldn't call it an upset either. But the only reason I picked KRCC is because they are the current champions, and at the same time, I feel that KRCC has a problem, because they on the other side there are people like Chanakya Lokam who are technically correct batsmen who can play their bowlers and punish them if they bowl the bad ball. And sure enough, yes, Mufasir and Oni, if you can tackle them, and there are people capable of tackling them on the other side, and that's two bowlers, and the other three bowlers can be had. I think Jasneet should be punished. If Glads were playing KRCC, we would go after Jasneet right from ball one. That's exactly what I would be telling Satya. There is no way in hell that Jasneet should be having 5 overs, 15 runs figures. Jasneet should be hammered. He is there to be hammered. And if you don't hammer it, then you're giving the game away. So you have to go after him. And so it might be difficult to hit Mufi and Oni. It's an easier task to hit Jasneet, is what I feel. Mufi and Oni is a little bit of a different. Again, Oni can be hit. Depends upon what kind of batsman you have. But I do think that Red Devils have the batting, and Red Devils
not giving wicket to Oni is more important. and at the same time, you can charge Raja as well, because I think the way Raja is bowling, they will definitely use Raja.
Absolutely. They
And
they should
Raja
target
is also
Raja.
someone the opponent team should try to score.
I would
Absolutely.
have got the bird's eye view if I had not opted out of umpiring this weekend. I was supposed to
Okay.
go to umpire this game, so I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to going to umpire this game because I know it's going to be a cracker of a game. But unfortunately, I cannot go to this game. But yeah, it's going to be a great game.
And they are playing in the DSP 1, so gonna be I think good batting track, if I'm not wrong. So fair chances for Red Devils there.
Okay.
Yeah, and what can also happen is, in the effort to kind of score, Red Devils might try to go too hard. I hope that they don't go too hard and try to kind of score off KRCC and in the end, get out for a very low score. I think that tends to happen when you're playing a big game. Is like you tend to kind of think too much very early on rather than taking it as a normal game.
I'm looking for Oni versus Gagan, because Oni bowling and Gagan batting, and but the problem here is they don't do live streaming. I'm not sure if Red Devils will do or not, but KRCC certainly is not doing any live stream, so probably we'll miss that point.
I am actually looking for Oni versus Gagan in the reverse direction. I want to see Gagan bowling to Oni, and you know what? I have a feeling that Gagan can take Oni's wicket. Very cheap.
That is
That's
also
what
a
I
good
feel.
match. So overall, Gagan versus Oni's game, right?
Yes,
Either
it's
batting or the
Gagan
bowling.
versus. I think Gagan versus Oni. I mean, for you batting wise, but for me, I would like to see Gagan bowl to Oni and let Oni prove to me that he can handle Gagan, because I have a feeling that Gagan can get him. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, even whatever my observation is, if Oni is batting, don't let your fast bowler bowl. If you are slower side of the bowler who can bowl spin and all, I think there you might get Oni. I do agree with you, Viju bhai there. If Gagan
Okay,
or Sona Rahul bowls,
So Parthiv, you can see some smart guys have already given certain tips to the Red Devils, and I'm sure there are some people in Red Devils who are watching, and they are not excited either.
Yeah, in our brain, I think we all think KRCC is going to win, but in our heart, I think we all want KRCC to lose. It's like that.
I don't know if that is true, but nevertheless,
we all pick KRCC, okay?
We all pick KRCC because we are ruled by our brain, right?
Do you still have that one that you were carrying when we lost? Canton Hurricanes won. We need to get that again, if at all KRCC lose.
Yeah, I mean,
that
horse?
the horse or something that you were carrying, right? I forgot.
Which one? What is that again?
The deer head or something.
Oh,
which you had.
Yeah. I have it. I have it here.
Maybe if at all, 5 of us picked up the wrong KRCC, right? We may need to get that back if I think.
Yeah,
if
okay.
Red Devil is winning.
I have it. Just remind me in case if Red Devils win. In case the Red Devil wins, then we are bringing the reindeer with the noose. The reindeer with the noose back.
Yep.
Well, we'll see. All right. What else? All right, I think we're up on time. This is a great time. This is the first time actually we finished at 10 o'clock, so that's great news. Satya is punching the air that finally we've been able to.
No, Satya is so shocked that he left the scene itself, thinking that the show won't get over at this time.
He's doing bhangra on the background.
Okay.
All right.
But anyway, guys, I'll see you 2 weeks from now. And anyway, hopefully KK will be back next week. So you guys will have a fabulous time.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
Have a great
Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.